to be here with everyone on this special Friday. Usually, we're together on Fridays. It's our second time doing this where Gavin's at an undisclosed location. We're still waiting for people to make a guess on where he is. But other than that, Gavin, the essential question of the day: how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, Zach. I'm doing really well. It's not the best of day outside. It was raining this morning. Late night thunderstorms when I was watching the Dodgers game, but I'm doing well, and I'm still waiting for people to guess where I am. I know there's a few people that know where I am in this undisclosed location. So whoever can guess that, congratulations. But I'm waiting for it. But I'm doing great. How about you?
Should be exciting. No, I'm doing really well. First time last night where I was able to flip through multiple sporting events. And no disrespect to the PGA, no disrespect to NASCAR, but of the major four sports, it's nice to have them back. Baseball is in their league and underway. We have wins and losses in each column for four teams respectively last night. And we got the NBA going too. I got to watch a little bit of LeBron James versus Luka Doncic. It was fun to watch. A little bit of Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell playing last night. It's exciting. I'm really excited to have sports back. We have more to talk about today. Our beloved Sixers playing a little bit over 3 hours. Our beloved Phillies are playing in about 7 hours. So I'm really excited for it. And today we're going to actually break down live score results. And we're really going to get to see what our sports talk show can really do as far as going out there and reporting on these games live and then working on some other ways to bring more interactive content to our viewers.
Heck yeah! And today we got a third member actually on with us today. He's gonna bring some hockey to the table, where I guess me and Zach we kind of missed on a little bit of hockey, but there hasn't really been much going on. But he's gonna touch on that and some Sixers as well. So get ready because live sports are back. We're gonna get started. We're gonna get started really well, and we're gonna get started quick and fast, and it's gonna be a lot. So I hope you guys are ready.
I agree, Gavin. It's going to be great, an excellent opportunity to really report on some of these live sports, give the breakdown, run through some stats during the season, really see some of these storylines start to play out. And with that, we're going to get started with it. Two games last night. We predicted both of them pretty accurately. One of them was cut short due to the storm. The Nationals lost to the Yankees last night, and the Giants lost to the Dodgers by a lot. And so we'll break it down. Let's start with it. The Nationals and the Yankees had their pregame ceremonies, some things on the racial justice side, some things on the World Series celebration side. Overall, I was very pleased with the presentation of how it started out. Just really exciting to get baseball back. We'll start with that. So, Gavin, some thoughts on the initial game here on opening day?
Well, I'm gonna go touch on the first game. First of all, everything before the game was beautiful. The social media, everybody's kneeling at the same time was really powerful. Hopefully, and we continue to keep doing that. And obviously, now from the Phillies side of me, seeing the banner and all the stuff go up, it was all right. I mean, cool. You guys won it. You're not winning it this year. So for me now, um, I would the first game was pretty cool. Giancarlo Stanton gets the first official home run of 2020 season. So Zach, here's why I'm a little disappointed at, right? And I know, and I didn't get a chance to tell you this, so I'm disappointed a little bit. The New York Yankees, what they did in the pregame was, fantastic. But I want to say, as the game's about to start or about to go on, they announced that President Trump's going to be throwing out the first pitch on August 15th. And me personally, I was morally disappointed. For those who may or may not know, I am my AL team because apparently you can do that now. I have a favorite NL team, always Phillies first, and then the Yankees a second. But
I
when
don't
I
know how
heard
to
that,
do that.
I don't know. Well, listen. There will be no Yankees baseball for me this year. I'm a little disappointed in the Yankees' decision to do that. I don't think especially for their team is probably one of the I don't want to say the most diverse team in the, all MLB because that's not true, but they have a lot of diversity on their team, and the diversity groups they have is the groups he speaks against. So to have him throw out the first pitch in your home stadium, I'm really disappointed in the New York Yankees for that.
No, you had the honor of the first pitch last night. Dr. Anthony Fauci threw out the
Oh yeah,
first pitch. Good nod to him. I feel that from an
good job,
apolitical
that pitch.
perspective, just honoring that's true. Honoring the position of the president, no matter who was there. We got to see Barack Obama threw out a first pitch in Chicago a little while back. But no, definitely, Gavin. One thing that we definitely ensure on the show is retaining the apolitical mindset, but definitely bringing up different points of different perspectives and what we can do to fight social justice. That's one of the things that we emphasize on this show. But yeah, like you mentioned, that Dr. Fauci definitely is spending a little more time fighting a pandemic right now than throwing baseballs down the plate. But definitely, it's just nice to see baseball back, and again, unity through sports, which is our end goal.
Well, first of all, Doctor, I'm gonna let that first pitch slide because you've been fighting a pandemic, so that's been your main objective, which is all good. But hopefully, when this pandemic is all done, we could get you some pitching lessons, man. That was that was bad, man. That was way outside. I wouldn't even swung at that. I might have swung it just because I felt bad. But no, that was a great honor for him. And then the game itself was awesome. Garrett Cole came out, did what he was supposed to do. He came out, he only let one earned run in the 6 innings they played because the game ultimately ended because of the weather. But Zach, I want to bring this to your attention. Did you see how bad Max Scherzer looked last night again?
Early on, he looked definitely off, but he looked stronger throughout the game, to be honest. He let up the home run in the first inning. They had 2 outs, and then he came back with, I think, 4 or 5 straight strikeouts. But no, there's definitely some concern there, but maybe just shaking off some rust. And you're also playing the Yankees, who are an offensive firehouse.
Well, also, too, you can make the case saying that Garrett Cole really didn't face anybody too difficult. Remember, Juan Soto tested positive for the coronavirus hours before game time. So I wonder how long they knew about this because to get told hours before game time that your best player isn't there, it's a little off, don't you think? Just a little bit. But oh no, it was a great game for both teams. I think great first start for the MLB. Congratulations, and I said this once, I'm gonna say it again. When the New York Yankees are healthy, Zach, they probably are the best offense in all of all major leagues.
I agree. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, definitely a lot of talent. Well, that shifts us to our next part of this discussion, which is the COVID-19 diagnosis from their player. Again, it's not a bubble. You're not isolated completely, but he was tested positive. I believe 9 a.m. yesterday. They said they figured that out. The players are all getting daily testing, so there might be more guys showing up positive, and now you might potentially have an outbreak. We don't know. Now, very early on in the season, the regiment of the MLB is going to be tested. We all hope for the best. But Gavin, what are some, again, you did share some initial thoughts. What are some deeper thoughts now about Juan Soto just hours before game time, arguably almost 10 hours before game time? 9 a.m. was diagnosed with COVID-19. We imagine he's in quarantine now. He's going to be awaiting those double negative tests. It could be a false positive too. We don't know, but more details have yet to break out.
Well, we emphasize this a lot. I might have to get a billboard or a little post that says "We're not doctors" or scientists.
I'll make an overlay for it. I'll have to put it in for it.
Every time we talk about this, we're not doctors or scientists or anything on the medical field. All right. So when you lose a guy like Juan Soto, you got to think about it. We're talking about maybe a week or 2 max, right? There's a lot of games to be played in those times a week, and you're considered the best player offensively for that team because there's no one else around you. That's a big loss to that team. Now, me as a Phillies fan, I'm happy to see that we have a chance to go to hopefully a great start. I can't. I mean, we're playing the Marlins. Apparently, the Marlins always beat us somehow, some way. So, Zach, my initial thoughts are wow, because that's unfortunate. You don't want to wish bad on anybody. We already know. We look at the numbers and death rates and cases and all this stuff, and you don't want to wish any of that on anybody. So that's my first initial thought. My second initial thought is, who did he come in contact with, and how did come? If you guys do daily testing, how come I didn't see that yesterday? Yeah, like if you test daily, how come you didn't see that yesterday? Like if they're testing NBA players daily, you would have saw that the day before, not the next day. Zach, unless this virus, magically appears after you test, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's unknown, and so I mean, like the daily testing is going to catch these things as early as possible. That's why I've emphasized so much the importance of doing mass scaling of testing prior to a re-entrance into a fully open society, so that you can be knowledgeable and catch these things early. I imagine the other Nationals players are just getting tested daily. Everyone who's been in contact with him is tested, and if they show up positive, they'll have to follow the right protocols. Hopefully, they don't get attacked by the virus so bad, but I think, the MLB is going to be tested here. They're really going to be tested as far as who potentially could pick up the virus, then they could spread it to. Social distancing measures have to be in possible order, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're in the dugout. We know that, but that's why the daily testing is so crucial. So it's going to be an interesting case. We'll see what happens moving forward. More details have yet to be released, but that's definitely a shockwave considering it happened just hours before opening day, especially for a player who's on the team that was playing yesterday.
So, Zach, let me ask you this question. We always emphasize, you always emphasize daily testing might be the key to opening up everything else. So, is this like a major error on the MLB side? Because I would believe, yesterday Juan Soto was with the team. I would believe, even if he wasn't, I still think he would be tested daily. So, is this an error on testing side, or is this an error on MLB side, or is this just one of those unfortunate situations?
You're in the midst of a global pandemic. These guys are allowed to go home at night. If it is a true positive test, he probably picked it up. However, he did. The MLB regimen of daily testing picked it up early, and now he's in isolation, preventing anyone else from getting the spread. So, I mean, I don't want to say props to the MLB. Everybody's doing daily testing, but no, in a way, yes, the MLB was proactive with it. And now, assuming they follow the protocols correctly, then they will succeed in this situation. And if these incidents happen again, they're prepared and they know what to do. Unlike the NFL, who pretty much has no guidance right now on how they're going to handle it. But no, props to the MLB for that.
Well, I mean, they're not in a bubble, so I get your point. You're going back home at night. You're going back to your loved ones. Your loved ones are going to other places, and they're bringing whatever they have back with them. So it's difficult. I think that this baseball season will happen, but we're going to see a lot of stars or a lot of people that have a lot of big influences or big impacts on their team start to be dropping out due to the virus. I may think they might not even finish play because of the virus. I think some players might say, you know what, it's not worth it. 60 games. Maybe if your team is like the Baltimore Orioles, so we already know they're going to be horrible, and if they're have no chance to say, they might just say, forget it, I'm out. I don't want to play no more. That's the point we're at now. It's because you're kind of playing a game with life right now. Your health, like that's the major game you're playing. You're playing a game versus your opponent, but you're playing a major game versus our health. Everybody is. Zach, you and I are included. We're playing a game with health right now. And right now, health has been winning this past couple months because we went in shutdown, we went in quarantine. Everybody was inside the house. But Zach, if we don't get the proper amount of sunlight, if we don't go outside, we're weakening our immune systems. So that makes it worse. So kind of if baseball players are outside getting the right vitamin D on, so they're actually getting a better chance to withstand themselves from this virus.
They're also young, healthy people. I don't think it's going to be shut down, but yes, there will be a lot of positive tests, especially when you're doing this diligent testing. If they are, that's the key to making sure that everybody can be successful because you don't have to even contact trace to the other players because they're already getting tested. If you get a positive case, all right, you go home. The reason before that there was, all right, everybody you've been in contact with needs to quarantine is because we didn't have the readily available testing, but now we do. So that's the big difference maker there. But Gavin, any other final statements here on this game or with Juan Soto's situation before we move on to the final game of last night?
Well, honestly, Juan Soto, you're a division rival. We wish you the best. Speedy recovery. Stay safe. Everybody remember, let's take this virus seriously. But let's not forget that it's not going to go away anytime soon. Zach, we emphasize this a lot. We don't go outside and go lick a pole or go hug a random person or go do the most. Let's just be smart. Let's be mindful. Let's be right. Everybody wear a mask. Let's do it. Zach, our masks are coming pretty soon. We're going to be wearing ours. We're going to take the show on the road, but
should be here next week.
Let's be mindful of what we're doing.
It's a good point. It's the reality of the situation. We knew this was going to happen. It's just being able to mitigate and be ready for it. But with that being said, let's switch into it, Gavin. The Los Angeles Dodgers, who are pretty much our favorites for the World Series, them or the Yankees, defeated the San Francisco Giants last night by a score of 8-1. The game was tied before the pitcher was pulled after the fourth inning for San Francisco. We've seen this before with Gabe Kapler as the manager. But Gavin, let's get some of your initial thoughts. You said it was going to be an offensive night. It really wasn't for San Fran. It was more for LA. What are some thoughts on that?
Well, the best offense or second best offense in baseball proved it, and the second best player or maybe the best player in baseball proved it as well. First of all, Kike Hernandez had a fantastic game last night. 5 RBIs. That's crazy. Cody Bellinger got into an unfortunate rundown that ended up advancing 2 runners to second and third, which ultimately led Kike Hernandez to score both those runners in. Do you want me to stop? Let me not. Mookie Betts, he scores the first run for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers ultimately get momentum and they go to score and win the game. Without a Clayton Kershaw, they go out with Dustin May. Dustin May doesn't do the worst job, didn't do the best job, but he did enough to keep the team in it. and Dustin May,
Only one run.
only one run allowed, so that's not bad. Zach, this is going to be a nice season for the Dodgers, and Mookie Betts just adds on to the firepower they already have. I know I might sound like a broken record when I say this, Zach, but Mookie Betts, when you add a guy like Mookie Betts, your lineup just gets automatically better. And you already got a Justin Turner, you have a Corey Seager coming back, you have a Cody Bellinger, you have a Jock Pearson still, and a Kike Hernandez. If Kike keeps swinging the ball or the bat like this, who knows what they're going to do? They might go 60-0. Let me relax because that's not going to happen. But
They're 45 and 15.
45-15, maybe 50-10. You don't know. I think we're looking at the best offense or second best offense behind New York, however you want to put it. Both offenses were on last night for both teams. But let me go to the Dodgers. The only weakness of the Dodgers I see is their bullpen. And now they have this new rule because before they used to bring a bullpen arm in for one person and then take them out. But the new rule states they have to face three batters. And unless if they get out the inning, they don't have to come back. But if they do, they have to face two batters and then you can switch. So, Zach, my question for you is how good are these LA Dodgers? And what do you like about them? Or do you see anything you like about them?
Well, I mean, Clayton Kershaw, obviously on the injury list with some back injuries, unfortunate for him, but they have great pitchers, great manager, experienced team, and they have a heck of an offense. Like you said, should I stop with the amount of great guys that they have? And that's the truth of the situation. Not only do you already have a great team with Cody Bellinger and Jock Peterson and some of these other power hitters that can really be good situational players, like you mentioned with the rundown, which did advance to runners, and then you end up having 5 RBIs. With all that being said, you also add Mookie Betts to it, who's a very talented player. Yeah, you're paying him a lot of money, but you know what? They're all or nothing here. They really have went to the World Series a few times. They're trying to get that push. They're trying to get over that hump. They really have the potential to do that here, and they're a great team. I'm very excited to see what they do this year. Being in the NL, I'm not too fond of them being a Phillies fan because they're competition, but I'm excited to see how it plays out. That's what I like about them, and it's a 60-game sprint, so you're not going to burn out, and you're not going to have those problems. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens.
Well, also, too, Zach, a lot of people don't know this, but Cody Bellinger's still on his rookie deal. So they can pay Cody Bellinger as well. They can figure out a way to keep Bellinger and Walker Buehler and somebody. That's the beauty of baseball. A lot of money because a lot of games. We see guys get these 13-year deals. If you're Mike Trout, you get 12 years, $400-something million, which that's just crazy. You're behind Pat Mahomes still, but still, that's crazy. And then you see guys like Mookie Betts, who gets the second largest contract in baseball. So these guys are worth it. I think Mookie Betts is worth every last dollar. Mookie Betts you get a great right fielder. So your right fielder and center fielder have great arms to gun out anybody from wherever they're running to. And Zach, put this in perspective as well. Did you see Mookie Betts' base running yesterday?
I didn't get a chance to. What are some of the key things from it?
So as soon as the ball hit the bat, he went running. He scored all the way home. Gabe Kapler tried to challenge it. Didn't really work. So that's another thing you get. You get speed from Mookie Betts, underrated base runner as well. Zach, why did the Phillies not get this guy? I always ask that every night. Ever since the Phillies, or no, excuse me, ever since the Red Sox traded to the Dodgers for Mookie Betts, and what they got back was not nearly enough. I'm like, oh man, we could have did that, but we didn't.
It's a crazy situation. The Phillies, as if they don't have enough offensive talent, you're going to have to start some monster deal with JT Realmuto, in my opinion, which I'm excited about.
I hope
But
so.
speaking of that, Gavin, any final statements on the Dodgers-Giants game last night?
Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we got rid of Gabe Kapler just showed last night, and it's going to continue to show over and over and over again.
I agree. It's nice not to have him here. That shifts us right into our next topic, the Philadelphia Phillies. Today's the day, Gavin. Opening day for the Phillies. We talked so much about baseball. It hits home tonight. We play the Miami Marlins at home at 7:05. Gavin, Aaron Nola on the mound. Bryce Harper, second year here. Rhys Hoskins trying to have a rebound year. Gene Segura trying to have a rebound year. Should I continue? Didi Gregorius trying to show himself. Roman Quinn trying to earn a roster spot. It's craziness. Scott Kingery trying to solidify his role. It's crazy. Andrew McCutchen coming back on a rebound year. I think I hit everybody, right? Am I missing anyone?
Keep going.
Jay Bruce off the bench. This is the year for this team to really prove who they can be. New manager who left New York. Going to be playing them a lot this year. Hoskins, again, messed up his swing, trying to fix it.
Oh my God.
And you have a guy, JT Realmuto, who should be signed right now, which he isn't. So now he's going to go out there and prove it the way that Dak Prescott should do. Not to bring that up right now, though.
Not right now.
And people are thinking Bryce Harper's overpaid, including myself in a way, even though a lot of guys are getting monster contracts. I get it. It's the only way you got to bring him here. Maybe thinking you need Manny Machado if you're having struggles with third base, or can Scott Kingery prove to be that guy you need? Gavin, there's so much to go over with this season. What are some initial thoughts, and what are you really looking forward to tonight?
First of all, I'm excited. All these guys you named, they all provide in their own way. Didi Gregorius, for those who may or may not know, he carried the Yankees for the most part of last year for a little while. Him and Gary Sanchez were the reason why the Yankees went to the playoffs still. Him, Gary, and DJ LeMahieu. But Didi Gregorius had his own in the beginning of the year, Gary during the mid-year, and then late was kind of LeMahieu, and all three of them combined. So, having said all that, you have Andrew McCutcheon back. You got Bryce Harper on the second year here. You got Scott Kingery. You got Gene. You got Zach Wheeler. You got Aaron Nola. You got JT. Do you want me to stop? I can keep going. Look, you got Roman Quinn, who's looking for a roster spot, who, and arguably, in my opinion, will be better this year. You got a new manager. You got a new pitching coach. Even though Charlie Manning went right back to the office, I still guarantee he still is going to teach people how to hit. Zach, this team is fantastic. This team, there's no reason why we should not be a playoff team. But there was a reason why we wasn't a playoff team, and it was the manager we had at the helm. Because Gabe Kapler did not know what he was doing. Exhibit A last night. You bring in an experienced guy in Joe Girardi who worked with Derek Jeter, who played with, who coached all these fantastic guys. He brought Aaron Judge in there. That's what those who really would not say, but he brought Aaron Judge in there. So Zach, I'm excited for a lot of things. I know we got a guest coming on, our third member, but I gotta get something out. This team tonight should destroy Miami. They should destroy Miami. They should win like 8-0. They should. Will they do it? Probably not. They will win though. But I'm excited just to see how the season goes because all the new things I just named and you named as well. What can we not have new here? Zach, do you see who we have here? Do you see what we got here? We got a lot going on here.
I agree. I'm going to take a either freezing cold take or whatever you want to call it, but Rhys Hoskins will hit a home run tonight. With that being said, Gavin, we do have one more topic to cover. Any last seconds? We have one more topic to cover, and then we have our guest coming on. But Gavin, anything else here on the Phillies opening day? We are possibly doing post-game live tonight. Stay tuned on our Instagram. We'll keep some updates there. Should be exciting. But Gavin, any other last statements here before the Phillies game tonight?
Oh, man. It's back. Baseball's back. We're going to be happy. This is how the Phillies season goes. We're happy at start because we're the best team in baseball. Then the May and July depression comes, and then the August, we don't know what we are. And then come September, we're on the rebound. We're trying to show that we have some type of hope, and we don't. But this year, we will not be depressed. We're going to the wild card. We're going. Mark my words.
All right, there we go. I'm hoping so too, Gavin. So coming up next, we're talking about the NFL, including more Antonio Brown drama, and of course, breaking down our division rival, the Washington football team. All that up next. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit. Again, our goal will be going on the road, showing off some of those masks. If you want one, the link is in the description. Any questions, you can always let Gavin or myself know, or even contact us on Instagram or Facebook. Of course. So, Gavin, let's get to it now. More Antonio Brown drama. It doesn't stop. I thought he was retired 2 days ago. Now he is upset with the NFL because they have not finished his investigation. I know that the overlay talks about the Washington football team. We'll get to that in just a minute. But, Gavin, we got to break it down. Antonio Brown drama back. What is going on?
What isn't going on with AB? You talked yourself out $31 million, and all you had to say, let me tell you something. If you can talk yourself out $31 million, something's wrong. All you got to do is just sit down and relax, and the next day you get $31 million. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I bring that up is because I picked them first in the fantasy football league. So let me get that out the way. I don't know what's going on with Antonio Brown. Is he trying to stay relevant? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out right here. The relevant is what he's trying to do, and it's not working because, Zach, no one cares. No one cares. Do you care? Because I don't.
I don't
care. Exactly. So, exactly. Thank you. AB is a clown. Exactly. He really is, and he needs help. Antonio Brown, I said it once. I'm going to say it again, and I'll keep saying it. Please, get some help. You need it. I don't know what the problem is now. I don't know what happened now. I don't know what I kind of do want to know what happened now because right now you look crazy, my guy. You look crazy. We got help. We need to get you some help.
I don't know. I don't know what's up. He was retired 3 days ago. He's trying to stay relevant. Marquise Brown is the new Brown. We like Hollywood a little bit better. But like you said, I mean, he could have that CTE from that hit against the Bengals a few years back. A lot of people speculate on that. Again, we're not doctors making a medical diagnosis, but he's a very talented receiver. And we talked about the drama in Pittsburgh. We thought it was Big Ben the issue. You have Le'Veon Bell holding out, Antonio Brown throwing football in practice, refusing to go to the Week 17 game that they won, but they ended up not making the playoffs that year because the Ravens were able to clinch. But it's not even a tricky situation. Antonio Brown's got a lot of allegations against him, including his former trainer. The investigation's still going on. I'm pretty sure the results of it are not going to be friendly for Antonio Brown. Like you said, he messed up. All he had to do was sit down and you could have gotten a lot of money from Oakland, now Las Vegas. Even signed with New England. Even Belichick couldn't work it out with him. When you know Belichick can't work it out with him, especially after the game he had against Miami, you know something's wrong. Again, we talked about him working out with Russell Wilson in Seattle. We talked about him working out with his cousin Marquise and Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. He's involved. He's trying to come back, but he keeps messing himself up by saying stupid things. This is not new for Antonio Brown. Nothing's going to change for him. I don't think any GM is going to want to take a chance on him, at least right now.
Zach, if you can get released from the New England Patriots, right? And you know they got great lawyers because I know they got great lawyers because how many times they cheated and been and stuff. If Bill Belichick came to you and like, hey, just shut up and we're going to figure this out. If you just shut your mouth, we could figure this out. And we could have, you could have played for the full season. I'm not saying Antonio Brown would have got off for whatever, what he did. But no, you go and attack this young lady over Instagram DM. So what does that do? They got to release you because of that because you're not supposed to. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. John Gruden doesn't, from what I heard, John Gruden doesn't take anything from anybody. But he was trying to work with you. Antonio Brown, first it was frostbite. I don't know how you get frostbite when you're in California in the summertime. Because someone in the comments tell me how that works. Because I don't know. Maybe you're in a PA winter, I can understand that, but you're not. So you get frostbite from that. And then it was another thing. And on top of that, you lose $31 million. And you lose $15 million from the Patriots. Zach, that's almost $50 million right there. And two teams he lost out on. So, hold on. I think there's an apology out here. And I'm not apologizing to Antonio Brown because he does not deserve it for me. I apologize to Mike Tomlin because if this was going on for all his time in Pittsburgh, man, Mike, first of all, you deserve a drink or some sort. And also, you deserve Coach of the Year for 2 straight years. Whoever won Coach of the Year those years he was there, they need to give it to Mike Tomlin because I couldn't deal with this on a day-to-day basis. It's blasphemous, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Credit where credit is due. He's a great coach. They almost made the playoffs this year despite being on their third-string quarterback whose name was Duck. But, yeah, it's a crazy situation. But other than that, Gavin, let's shift gears now talking about one of our division rivals, our main one obviously being the Dallas Cowboys. But the Washington football team, color scheme stays the same. Uniforms are pretty much the same. This is not their official name. This is their placeholder name. Until they come up with an official one, I'm still a big fan of the Washington Red Tails with a nod to the Tuscany Airmen back in the early 1900s fighting for this country. But, Gavin, the Washington football team came out yesterday. What are some first thoughts on this?
Y'all telling me and LeBron James said it best. Y'all telling me y'all sat in a long boardroom meeting. This is the best y'all came up with was Washington football team. Hey, Zach, a 3-year-old can come up with a better name than Washington football team. I guarantee it. Like, Really, Daniel Snyder? Really? Can we just talk about how Daniel Snyder has been probably one of the worst owners in the past week, where
Probably the
everything is
one.
going on surrounding his franchise as the inner core, and then with the name, and you're gonna come out and be like, "Hey, Washington football team." You're not even changing the colors, so that's not even that difficult. But the Washington football team is that, you know what? I'm gonna go in the division, right? I'm gonna look up division names. It's gonna be the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, and then the Washington football
Washington
team.
football teams.
You couldn't come up with a name of Washington football team? Come on, Daniel. Do better.
No, it's crazy. It's hard to imagine that they would really go with that name. I mean, you got graphic designs made for it. The amount of money you wasted on that, on the rebranding of just that, and then you're going to change it again. It's a very interesting situation. I don't know what their thought process was for that. I think that it's definitely a fascinating situation. They're not going to be good this year, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. Dwayne Haskins, we still don't even know if he's a starter caliber quarterback, but that organization is a mess from the top down in every way whatsoever. The only thing they have going for them is Ron Rivera, who's a great coach, and we'll see what happens. We got Chase Young as well. But Gavin, anything else here on the Washington football team? A quick question though: what are the fans called now? Are they football teamers? I can imagine like Haskins dropping back, throws the
It's called the
touchdown.
team.
Touchdown football teamers. Let's
Hey,
go. Football
hey,
teamers
Zach.
lose by 50 to the Eagles.
Zach, can you imagine sitting at the lunch table and everybody going at the lunch table? We talk about what's your favorite football team. Like, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. What's your favorite team, Johnny? I'm the Washington football team.
They might just go by Washington for now. At least I'm
You
curious what
might
they're
as well
going to
just
do.
go by
I've
Washington.
seen
Football team
I've
sucks.
seen I've seen rumors from the DC Centennials. That seems like a name for them. The Red Tails, the Red Wolves, and then Gavin's favorite, the Washington Warriors. There to get the W set up for you,
That's a
Gavin.
great ring to it. In the
So
comments, in the comments below, let me know what would y'all like their Washington to be called? Because right now, the football team ain't gonna cut it.
we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be a fascinating situation. Maybe they should be the Washington Losers because that's all they do. But other than that, Gavin, any final statements? Yeah, Washington Losers. There we go. But anything else here before we get to our final ad plug and then our guest for the day?
In the comments, I want to hear some names for Washington. Let me hear your best names for Washington. I'm curious. We got Washington Losers as the best one right now. So come
Far,
on, let me see what you got.
we'll have to see it. It's a very fascinating one. It's interesting, but we'll figure all that out. We'll continue with our next guest talking about the Sixers' first scrimmage game tonight. All that and more after this. Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see two links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always. I can see Gavin in the background laughing. I'm curious. Still laughing at the Washington Losers. But with that being said, let's bring on quickly our go-to Instagram graphic designer, doing an awesome job so far. Really excited to have him on the team. Matt, welcome to the show. How you doing today? Maybe having an audio problem again. Matt, can you hear us?
Better.
I think we're good. All right. Well, Matt, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Great to have you on again. Again, like we said before, everybody, this is officially our third member of the show. It's great to have you on, doing a great job on the Instagram. I love seeing the designs every day, everything like that. But other than that, we can get right to it. The Sixers' first game is tonight. It's so exciting. It's not their first regular season game. It's one of 3 or 4 exhibition games. And then they resume the regular season against the Indiana Pacers. Was supposed to go to that game. Obviously, we'll not be going to it now. We'll also talk about Ben Simmons at the power forward and Shake Milton at the point. And then we'll wrap it up with a little bit of Flyers talk. But Gavin, you had something to say there?
Can I just interrupt real quick, Matt? A comment said the Washington Bums. That's why I was laughing. That's a good one. Keep them coming. All right.
There you go. I like that one. Well, let's get started with it. We'll start with the Sixers, talking about them playing the Grizzlies today. We should expect to see the starting lineup tonight of Shake Milton, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. Matt, what are some of your initial thoughts on that, and what are you most looking forward to for the resume of this season?
I'm like actually, I think most people are probably excited for Ben Simmons starting at power forward, but I'm actually kind of excited for Shake Milton. because he's been like really proving himself, especially before the restart. So it should be fun to see what he can do. And like, I mean, he played point guard in college, so I'm assuming, I mean, he has it pretty down. So it should be fun to watch. And then Ben, like, I hope he shoots a three, bro. I really do. I need him to. I need to see it.
We all do. We're hoping that he can. Even Gaven, you said this before. It doesn't have to be 3-pointers. 15-footers, just force him to respect the shot. He'll get a lot more opportunities of corner threes, almost uncontested at the power forward position. We don't have a lot of faith in Brett Brown, but I do trust that you can get a good situation where you have a play where Embiid's inside, you space some guys out, you move the ball around, you kick it out to Ben Simmons for three, and he pops it. I hope to see at least 1 or 2 attempts from there tonight. Maybe he'll shoot a little bit more. It should be fascinating, but I mean, he's 6'10". He's one of the best finishers in the NBA. He's one of the most athletic players, one of the best defenders, can guard 1 through 5, can play almost any position as well. So just adding that jump shot is really going to help a lot for this team.
Yeah.
And we're also maybe Shake Milton as well. We're hoping to see. We've talked about it before, Gavin. He doesn't have to be a dominant scorer. If Ben can return to that dominant scorer position, then you can have Shake Milton be more of a facilitator for guys like Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, finding the open shooter, making a shot when you can. But definitely going to be interesting to see tonight. We also get a look at John Morant again. Gavin, I know you're a big fan of him. He is our choice for Rookie of the Year, given that Zion Williamson did not play enough to really be considered for it. But I'm very excited for that tonight.
So, Matt, let me ask you a question. We had a great friend on the show, Trent Tony, my cousin, on the show. And we were talking about point guards if Ben Simmons at the 4 works. Can you just imagine like a Derrick Rose and Ben Simmons running a pick and roll with Joel Embiid down there? Like, so my question for you, if this actually works, who would you want to see at the point guard position?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of hoping it's Shake because he's young. He's still in that contract because we re-signed him, and I forget how long he is here for, but it's pretty cheap. So I mean, if he became like a star, not star, but like I mean, like a starter level kind of person, we could really use like that money for the bench instead. But I mean, if we need to get like Derrick Rose, that would be like pretty cool. Honestly, I'd love to see that.
And I know we talked a lot about off the show, and we talk a lot about point guards or just anything great for the Sixers. And you mentioned Chris Paul to me before.
Did I?
I think we
Gavin. I brought him up before.
Oh, you did. So
Yeah,
Zach brought up Chris Paul. So Zach brought up Chris Paul. So what would you feel like a Chris Paul type? Maybe like a 1-year deal here with Chris Paul as the playmaking point.
I mean, if the money works, I mean, I'm all in for it because I mean, he's like really like redeeming himself this season because when he was at Houston, like Harden didn't really work well with him. I'm pretty sure he went through some like injury problems as well, but
yeah, a lot.
Yeah, that'd actually be like cool. Yeah, I like that.
No, I agree. It's definitely, in my opinion, he's a playmaker. I think of a facilitator, but that is under the assumption that Ben can shoot. Otherwise, he'll have to post up inside as well as Joel. But that puts more pressure on Joel Embiid to shoot. But if Ben Simmons can shoot in the playoffs, it means that it takes pressure off of Joel Embiid. Matt, how can you see Joel Embiid's play improve if he has less pressure on him to pull a jump shot?
Well, I saw him say the other day that like kind of if there was more spacing, it'd be a lot easier for him, and that I have to try to think about it real quick. Oh yeah, he said like he's like really getting better at like passing out and like not forcing up shots. So like with his development, becoming even better than he already is, I think it just makes us even better than we already are, and he should do pretty well in the playoffs. I mean, I really believe in him this year. I mean, he knows he has to prove it, and he said it multiple times.
I hope so. And so I think one of the big things they said yesterday, they're working on situational ball. The amount of turnovers they've given up this year, you think of the Miami Heat game, they're up by 2. And Joel has the ball in his hand, picks up a double team. Ball gets knocked away by Butler. Tyler Hero takes it back for a 3. That was the same game where Josh Richardson missed the first free throw. On purpose, missed the second one. Ben Simmons puts it up. They lose in overtime. But no, there's a lot of times that's happened. Now, before we do continue with the questions, I do have a little bit of breaking news. Gavin, we spoke about this yesterday. It is official that the Toronto Blue Jays have a home. They are going to be playing in Buffalo this year. This was one of the possible locations that we spoke about. We know that Canada declined their entry. I do have the ESPN push on my phone here. Home games will take place there after Toronto rolled out, and the plans to share facility with other teams has been scrapped, one of them being Pittsburgh. So let's go around the table here, Gavin, you first, and Matt. Let's get some thoughts on that playing in Buffalo. I believe it is an MLB caliber stadium. It's a minor league stadium, I believe, but it's a home stadium. They have one to play in. They have 5 days from now before their first home game.
Well, once again, congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays, or should I say the Buffalo Blue Jays, because Toronto didn't want you guys to be in Canada this year after they knew the season was starting up. And Zach, here's where I fault the government for Canada. You knew the season was coming back. You knew they were practicing in their facility. So when the bright lights and the season comes on, you guys backtrack from them. You guys leave them with no option where to go. The state of Pennsylvania declined them from playing in PNC Park, which, in all honesty, I don't see the problem why they couldn't play there as well. So that's just initial thoughts.
Yeah, Zach made a great point yesterday. It's like they're having the NHL restart in Canada, so I don't really see why they couldn't have the Blue Jays play. But I'm happy that they found a place because, Gavin, you said it. At least they have a place now, so they don't have to worry about that.
One of the options was if everything fell through to travel to every stadium. That's too much to ask out of a player. It's already enough to have to force the players to have to modify certain things this year given the pandemic. It's even worse than that if you expect them to travel to every place. At least they have a home base now. I don't know what the housing situation is like. But if some of the guys are still living in Toronto, I don't know how far Toronto is from Buffalo. It's probably a 40-minute flight. I don't know what it is driving. But I think that a lot of these guys are probably on the weekends or whenever they have off days. They're going to go back to Canada. So from the logistics standpoint, it doesn't make sense for Canada. But it happens all the time. This is just one of those situations, and they're going to be playing in Buffalo. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Going to be interesting. But for the first time, and I don't know how long, every single team will be playing within the United States in the MLB. Remember, we have the Blue Jays for a long time, even the Expos back in the day. So that's going to be actually a cool, fun fact.
But Zach, real quick, like you guys, Matt, like you brought up a great point, and Zach, you did as well. The hockey restart is in one of the it's in Toronto, right?
2 hubs, right?
I think it's Edmonton and maybe Toronto. I know Edmonton for sure.
So that's just I really got to do shame on Toronto and shame on the Canadian government for, first of all, denying your own team, your own Canadian team to not be able to play in their own stadium. But you're bringing other teams that are not even from there over there. That's nice. Good job.
I think the argument it's kind of a bubble, isn't it, Matt? Are you doing a similar?
Yeah.
So it's not international travel. They're there. So that makes a little more sense. But like we said before, at least give them a heads up like a few weeks back saying, no, you can't play here, find a new home. Because now they're scrambling, now they're stuck in Buffalo.
Like if it's early July, right? And you knew when the season was coming back, because by early July, they told everybody what was going to happen. If that's the case, early July, I need to know I cannot play there. Don't tell me when the season's 5 days away, I can't play in my home stadium. But let's get back to basketball.
It's crazy. No, let's get back to it. We were talking about the Sixers, the pressure on Joel Embiid. What about the role players? For me personally, I feel like our superstars did their jobs this year. Embiid was down a little bit average-wise, but Ben Simmons has had a really underrated year, even though the stats don't necessarily show it early in the year. But I think Stephen A. Smith said this once. He says, the issues do not lie within Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They lie within the role players, Al Horford, Josh Richardson, and Tobias Harris on that monster deal. So let me ask you this. What do you expect out of Josh Richardson and Tobias Harris coming into this, out of the hiatus that is?
Well, Josh Richardson, I know he's healthy. He had a lot of problems with his health before the restart, but I'm hoping that they can run a lot of pick and rolls with him. I feel like that just fits his game. He likes to just shoot mid ranges, and that's something that we want Ben to do. So even just having Richardson do that instead of Ben, that's a huge upside for that. I'm really relying a little bit less on Horford and Tobias. I'm really intrigued about Furkan because he's the best shooter on our team, and we need him to be able to play defense. And if he can't play defense, I don't know if he can play in the playoffs. And that's when you need Matisse to be able to do his thing, because we can rely on him on defense, but he's got to shoot as well. I really think about Furkan and Matisse as my X factors for the bench in the playoffs. So.
And so what about Al Horford as far as coming off the bench at the center position? We know he's paid like a starter, but we're going to have to deal with the reality of the situation. So what are some thoughts on Horford back up on Embiid? And now given that they've had all this time to rest and reset, maybe he's been able to fix himself up with a few things bothering him. How could that look in the playoffs when Embiid does need some of that rest?
I think that he's going to do just fine because, he said, I'm pretty sure he said that he was not as healthy as he wished he was. before the restart. So he's a lot more healthy now from the practices and like the videos that we've seen. I mean, he's hitting his shot. He just got to do it in game. And I'm pretty sure I saw some stats, some like advanced stats. He's not having that bad of a season. Offensively, he is, but defensively, he's still kind of where he always was. So
No, I agree. Yeah.
Down, yeah.
And so one of the big things last year was when Embiid was off the court in that Raptors series, it really hurt us. We had no really good depth. I am fine paying him if it guarantees that when Embiid's off the court, our plus minus is not going to be touched. I really would be fine with that because that arguably does mean a championship if last year we were able to hold down our ground. But how about the two guys that we got from Golden State and Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson? Burks really had, I forget what game it was, but they both had breakout games respectively before the hiatus started. I think they've really flown under the radar. They're both veterans in the league. So how could their roles be in the playoffs?
I'm not sure about Glenn Robinson, like because obviously in the playoffs the rotation gets shorter. I don't know if he'll make it. But Alec Burks, I definitely see him making it because like we don't really have a point guard. I mean, we have to see Shake do it, but like somebody that can like make their own shot and just like get through the defense and go right to the net. Burks has like been doing that his entire career, so hopefully like we can rely on him. If Robinson plays, I mean, I know like he's pretty good at what he does. I mean, he can like finish at the rim, play decent, maybe even a little above average defense on certain people. They were like two great players at Golden State when they were starting, so I think that if they could just transfer what they did at Golden State over here, that would be amazing. Robinson, I know he was struggling at first because he didn't like know what his role was, which doesn't make sense, but I blame Brett.
And I have one more question. I'll shift it down to Gavin. As far as Mike Scott is concerned, do you think he makes the cut this year? Last year, he played a big role in the playoffs. Think of that Nets game when Butler got ejected, but he's been not as sharp this year. He's had his games, but do you think Mike Scott's making the cut deep in the playoffs?
It depends. I mean, because like whoever is going to play power forward, like if Embiid's off the floor and Horford's playing center, other like Tobias, I'm assuming would play power forward, but like his backup, I would assume would be Mike Scott. I'm not really sure because have we even really like seen who the backup power forward is, or is it just like the rotations? Like they'll just move like Tobias there or something.
Yeah, that's what they usually will do when they sometimes they put Rich at the 1 this year and they bring Shake in at the 2 and then they put like Tobias. Tobias was switching to 3 and the 4. At Horford obviously was mostly power forward all year, but now with Ben playing power forward, that's going to be interesting to see. But Gavin, I'm going to defer it down to you now for some of your questions.
Well, Zach and Matt, I come on the show multiple times and I said, if there's a time for the Sixers to win a championship, it's now. The playing field is even than before. Whatever streak you had before hiatus does not matter now. Whatever injury you had before doesn't matter now because everybody should be back and healthy. And basically this is a new start. No one has played basketball that we know of. No one has played basketball that we know of in like a recognized like a real basketball game. So Matt, let me ask you this question. Do you like the Sixers' chances on winning the chip this year?
Oh, that's like tough to say. I need to see these scrimmages first because like we've seen Ben talk a lot about shooting, and I really think that is also like the key to winning is him shooting because like teams kind of know like they have to double Embiid and they can leave Ben at the 3-point line. So if they can like keep it where Joel is like on a 1v or a 1-on-1, I think like we will always dominate that part of the game in the post. So I think, like I said, I think that we have to see these scrimmages first. I would like to say that they could. Like, if there's any team that I really want to win the championship for their respective sport, it would be the Sixers. But I hope, man, I really do.
No doubt. So don't we all? And another question is Brett Brown has a history of not making it to the third round, excuse me. Obviously, we know the shot and the travel last year. Zach disagrees with me, but the shot and the travel of last year. We also have losing 4-1 to Boston. So, is it safe to say that the narrative of Brett Brown is the third round of playoffs doesn't matter to you? You can never make it there. So, if he doesn't make it to the third round this year, the Eastern Conference Finals to be exact, do we move on for Brett Brown? And if he does, do we still move on for Brett Brown? Because Brett Brown's, I think his time is is over?
It's hard to say because I don't think he's a horrible coach. I think that he has trouble like talking to the players, and that's like a big issue that we've seen throughout his time here. Um, Obviously, like we all kind of were really mad at him because like Ben wasn't shooting, and we kind of went to like telling him that he needs to tell Ben to shoot. And just recently, like Ben is the one that kind of said like mentally he was ready and that he's going to shoot it, and nobody has to force him to. So I feel like if they can get to the conference finals, I think he'll stay. If we get eliminated in the first round, he's definitely gone. Second round, I'm not entirely sure.
So this leads into my last Sixers question for you. Then I got another one, another question of revolving around basketball. So we look at the Sixers team. We look at who we had last year and who we have this year. Tobias Harris got a max deal.
Hmm.
Jimmy Butler, obviously, we tried to get Jimmy Butler on a max deal. He didn't want to stay. It was either Brett Brown or Jimmy Butler. We chose Brett Brown. Sadly, wish we chose Jimmy Butler, but we chose the wrong person. So, do you, after seeing the year Tobias had, and it wasn't a horrible year, do you think Tobias Harris was worth the $175 million deal we gave him, or do you think we overpaid for Tobias Harris?
I don't think we overpaid for him. I think maybe just a little bit, but like he's kind of like I mean he was. If I would say if Bradley Beal made the All-Star game, he's like in that realm of like Zach LaVine and like a few other guys who were like snubs because he averaged like 20 something points and he was on a winning team at that point. So, I mean, he's done good. I think that at the end of the day though, like Brett Brown is not like using his game how we saw like in LA. So he's probably not going to do as good as like we want him to in like um, that game that he would have if he had like a different coach or something. I think that game would like live up to his contract. But I mean, it's hard because like this off season, not off season, but like this like stretch where there was no basketball, he kept the team together, and like everybody is saying that. So he definitely like has a huge part, and like he's like just a team player and like a great locker room guy. I feel like you just have to keep him, whether you overpay or not. And we're seeing that more. People are overpaying for players; they just need to.
No doubt, and I mean Tobias Harris did a lot off the off season. I'm a big Tobias guy. I just didn't think 175 million was it's a little too much for the guy. I think maybe a little bit less. But no doubt. And this comment says, "I would love for the Sixers to win, but what do we do about parade?
Better get it on Zoom.
A Zoom parade."
They would just probably wait, right? Just
I think
hopefully
so.
wait for it to be done.
I think
Right.
so.
It would be fascinating as far as how they're going to handle that moving forward. But other than that, I know we do have about 7 minutes left. We should definitely begin breaking down a little bit more on hockey. It's set to start next week. The Flyers have an exhibition game against Pittsburgh in up in the Eastern hub. So, what are some of your thoughts on that, Matt? And what are your expectations for the Flyers? And they were on a very hot streak. I wasn't their last game, the one they did lose after their ending their winning streak. But what are some of the expectations going forward for this team?
Man, they're there. I mean, they are. If there's any Philly team that's like the closest to winning their championship, it's the Flyers. And I think a lot of people like they sleep on them a little bit, like the Philly fans, because I know whenever I like talk to a few Philly fans that I know personally, they always mention like, oh, like yeah, they like Philly sports. They're like a Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers fan. I'm like, what about the Flyers? Like, they're also there. So they definitely deserve to like get the recognition that they've been getting. I think that they have like 4 different lines that they always put out on the ice, and it's so deep, like of the talent that we have. So I think that's like what really kills the teams that we go against, and that's why we ended up getting on a hot streak. We have like such a great like number of like young or youth, and then like the veterans. So like you always see like they'll pan the camera and like after somebody like misses a goal or something, you'll see like Claude Giroux or like Jake Voracek saying something to them, and like they come out the next shift and like they kill it. So I'm excited. Like they're probably the team I'm most excited for right now. Carter Hart, he's been amazing, and then like Brian Elliott, he's actually. I mean, people want to like make fun of him for being bad because he's definitely had those games, but he's actually been pretty decent for us, and I'm not like scared to put him on the ice sometimes as well.
Definitely, we're all hoping for it. The Flyers they're good. I mean, like you mentioned, they definitely get left out a little bit, but when they're good, it's so exciting to watch them. And they've been great this year. But Gavin, anything you want to say on the hockey end?
Just watch out for Alex Ovechkin because man's a monster. I don't really know much about hockey, but I do know when Obi's on the ice, and I have a couple friends. Last year, my one friend, she made it a point for me to know who Alexander Ovechkin is, and well, he's a monster. He won the Stanley Cup last year, so obviously we gotta take into account in Washington and watch how they're gonna move. And I think we might be just a little bit better this year. I'm not really too sure. I gotta dig into my little hockey notes again, and hopefully next time you come on, I have more for you. But just watch out for the other teams around the league. Ovechkin is not a slouch. Sidney Crosby, we don't like him. I don't like him, but gotta watch out for these guys. You gotta respect those guys.
Yeah, if the season didn't end, like the Flyers would have taken that spot for sure.
Right. Who are some of your favorites, Matt, in the East and the West? We'll give one team for each to meet in the Stanley Cup.
I really like from like the East and like the Metro, all them. I think I'm gonna be biased here a little bit. The Flyers, I'd say the Flyers. If I'm being biased, if I'm not being biased, probably Boston because they're just crazy good this year for some reason. They have like the same roster, but they're still crazy good. And from the West, probably St. Louis again, or not again, but again, because St. Louis just won the cup. St. Louis or Colorado. Colorado is definitely a sleeper, but they're like really good.
And Tampa on the East, are they still up there? I know they got swept last year by Columbus, a shocker, but
they're still up there. But I mean, after last year, can you really take them seriously?
That was a shocker for everybody. I'm not even we're not huge hockey fans in my house, but we do watch as much as we can. But that was a shocker. That was like the Giants beating the undefeated Patriots, which did happen. But that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt, if I'm switching sports again, we got a question for you. This is a question, as you know of, we ask every guest.
You got 3 minutes, Gavin. Make it quick. Weekend.
Listen, we got a goat. It's called the GOAT debate. Zach says LeBron. I say Michael Jordan. But Marco Murray says Michael Jordan. Trent made a great point about decades and different times, but he said Michael Jordan.
Dom says Kareem.
Dom said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, who is your GOAT?
Kobe. I have to. I mean, he's just everything he's done for the game. I mean, I don't know. I was like watching tons of videos about him and like all his interviews. He just I feel like he's everything. And as much as I want to say Jordan was everything, I feel like I think of like really little things. So like just like talking to like the media and all those little things, how he like impacted the game. Like I think Kobe, but I think it's obvious to say it's Jordan, but I'm gonna say Kobe.
Well, I want to make this very, very clear when I say this, Zach and Matt. LeBron will be the greatest athlete of all time. What I mean by athlete of all time, I mean as in for what he's done outside of the game of basketball.
Yeah.
He opened up probably a fantastic school, which I know personally I would love to go to because these kids get a automatic ride to University of Akron. And every time there's a social injustice or anything that's going on around the world, or especially in this country, he has an opinion on it, and he's always speaking against what happened, and that's why LeBron would be the greatest athlete of all time. But when it comes to basketball, I don't think he would never surpass Michael Jordan, and I don't think he'll ever surpass Kobe Bryant. And the thing that you could say against Michael Jordan is in the documentary. The reason why I say Michael Jordan's not the greatest athlete of all time, because in the documentary, remember, he had a chance to endorse the first.
Yeah.
I think governor of North Carolina, first black governor of North Carolina.
One of the black representatives in Congress.
Yeah. And didn't do it. So you gotta look at it from that standpoint, like, well, he didn't do that, but the Michael Jordan of now, he just donated $100 million for the next 10 years, and obviously Michael Jordan does donate undisclosedly off the media to schools around his area, But I think LeBron will go down as the greatest athlete of all time just for everything he's done outside the game of basketball.
It's always valid points here of me personally. I've explained my mind before. I'll have to continue that as we go through. But I understand the Kobe Bryant part a lot. His mentality was absolutely unbelievable, and much respect to him, and God rest his soul. Very unfortunate what happened, but his legacy will continue moving forward. Other than that, we're looking forward to it. We got live Philly sports today. Very excited for it. Gavin, as always, great week with you, man. And Matt, thanks for being on today. We appreciate all you do behind the scenes. For everyone out there, much appreciation, doing a great job for us, and we look forward to continuing to work together. With that being said, everybody, have a great weekend. Any other last comments from you two?
Woj, he's back tomorrow.
Woj is back tomorrow.
And for me, follow us on Instagram, man. Matt is on fantastic things on our Instagram. Just stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming a long way. And stay tuned for maybe later, maybe a Phillies post game. We're not too sure about that yet, but we'll let you guys know.
We will confirm that as well. Thanks to both of you for being on today. We appreciate all the support that we've gotten this week on the show. With that being said, again, thank you so much. We've had a great weekend on the show. First time on Facebook. Seems to be a success so far. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we